doing it, and he's probably been playing a Telecaster since they were invented, and so I don't know, but I don't spill beer on my guitars.
That seems a very wise.
Yeah.
What kind of a guitar player are you?
Yeah. A sober one.
Do you spill beer on other people?
No, I don't. Well, hello everybody, welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And they call me on the phone and say, hey man, what's your show about anyway? I say, well, it's about an hour. It's about guitars, guitar players, guitar playing, and all things guitaristic. So here's the deal. If you want to call me on the phone, ask me a question about care and feeding of your guitar, like how to play the guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, stuff like that. You want to talk about a related topic like the guitarrón, the cítara, the lute, the oud, the vihuela, the banjo, balalaika, bouzouki, bajo sexto, mandolins, mandoras, mandolas, mandocellos, banjolins, banjoleles, guitar lalies. I want to talk about pipe organs, piccolos, cornets, clarinets, clavinets, crumhorns, quartholts, saxophones or sack butts. What should I say? Actually, anything like anything you can blow on or pluck on or drag a bow across. Anything musical is fine with me. Politics, world events, your own personality problems, those are fine too. It's all good here as long as you keep it clean, because this is a family show.
What if they ask you where you can be seen live?
Yes. Well, funny you should ask. I might mention this later. I'm going to be at the Mendoza. I think it's a wine bar in Coralville, adjacent to the Performing Arts Center. What do they call that place? The Coralville Performing Arts Center or something? They built an auditorium right downtown, right? In Coralville. So there's a wine bar that actually, is adjacent to it. Actually, if you can go out the back door of the wine bar and you'll end up at the lobby of the Performing Arts Center. So I'm playing there Thursday night, like at 7 or something, I think. 6:30 to 9:30. I don't know, something like that. Look it up. And then, of course, I'll be in Kelowna on Friday and Saturday at the Tuscan Moon doing my thing.
That thing Thursday, some event? Or?
No, it's just they have jazz. So I'm going to. I actually brought a jazz guitar. Well, a big hollow body guitar, suitable for playing jazz. I'll switch off later in the show. But
This guitar you're playing now is one you haven't had in here for a while.
no, I haven't. I haven't played this much for a while, but I've been playing it a lot. And the funny thing about it, this show sort of seems to be like. So last week, I played my Stratocaster with the rosewood fingerboard. I have a couple other Stratocasters. I have one that has the maple neck, so it's the maple fingerboard, and the blue one. I play that one often, but I developed a real liking for the other one. It's a natural wooden color one with the rosewood fingerboard, and I played that last week. And the thing was, I had been playing it for several days, not exactly obsessively, but that was my go-to guitar. That was the one I was grabbing all the time. And I tend to do that on the show more and more. So this one's the one I've been playing lately. I've had this for about a dozen years or so. It's a Taylor, with a cedar top and a Fishman blender system. It's about a 12-year-old electric acoustic, or acoustic electric if you prefer. So I've been playing this a lot lately. And one thing I have is I try to be broad-minded as a music instructor. So I have actually students who play with picks. So I'll demonstrate the pick on a classical guitar, and it's just isn't the same, on the nylon strings, or I'll play on a Stratocaster. It sounds kind of like rock and roll. So I've been using this one for that's my finger. I don't have a pick. I don't think I have a pick with me. Do I have a pick? No. Tuning fork, keys. Change. No, I don't have a pick. No, I don't need a pick. I've got 5 picks. But I've been using this one to teach flat picking with, and I was thinking, I kind of like this guitar. So I've been playing this one the last few days, quite a bit. I took it up. I'm teaching up at Coe College again. The semester started up there, so I took this one up to teach with. I don't have a single classical guitar student up there at the moment, so it's like, I have people who are destined to become school teachers, who probably play folk guitar for their classes.
Right.
As students. One student just finished her student teaching last semester, and now she's going to finish up college. So I'm teaching her folk guitar, and then I got some Chinese and Japanese and Cambodian people. English is a second language, and they're going to take their American folk and blues education back to the old country with them. So, but I really like teaching classical guitar because I study that the most, more than anything in my life. I study classical guitar, and I know exactly what to do. We go through this method book. We'll play these pieces. They're written in the 1820s by Italians, and
on a classical Stratocaster.
Yeah, well, on a nylon string guitar with a wide neck, Spanish style. But I play this thing. I was telling somebody. I was talking to some other faculty guy up there. Told him the story of. I love full of these stupid old stories, but a long time ago I used to live in a mobile home, and I lived there for like 8 or 9 years. I had a dog, big floppy-eared dog with big brown eyes and bad breath, big floppy tail, and the dog would sit through. When I got him, he was less than 7 weeks old. His mother had run away. She makes a good country western song in the small town of Stone City, Iowa. So they gave me this puppy, and I raised him on little cow milk, and then the puppy chow, and the cat, adopted him, and he got to be this great big 100-pound dog, big floppy ears. But that dog, all his life, from his first earliest memories,
brought him home in a pickup truck and had a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Well, did the dog get a cup of coffee or a pickup? Well, anyway. So the thing about the dog, the dog listened to me play all kinds of stuff. I had a vihuela. I played Renaissance music on this, antique or this, proto guitar type of thing. I played, jazz, lots of classical stuff, flamenco rumba, and he'd always sort of sit through it. But when I actually spent some serious time playing country guitar, and that's when he responded. That was the kind of music he liked, and I was just thinking, country music. That's dog music. It sounds more like John Prine or something. Well,
Or like the bartender in the Blues Brothers said, we play both kinds of music, country and western.
country and western. Well, I mean, I play a lot of country music, but it's not necessarily this country. So, I had to get up early this morning. Well, I had to be at work at 11. Yeah, let's see raps.
Yeah, bankers and musicians.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably early for a musician.
Depends when you go to bed.
Yeah.
When I used to play in bars all the time, I get home at 6 o'clock in the morning a lot of times. What I noticed was on the Superstation, they'd play the Three Stooges at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I tried to get back in time for the Three Stooges. Because that was like just about the level of intellect I was at. You know, I'd have like a bowl of cereal and kick back and watch the Stooges and eventually crawl off to bed. And then, of course, the phone would ring at 9 o'clock. Best part of the day is over. Yeah.
I used to work the evening shift. You know, I'd get home 1 o'clock in the morning, and just before where there's a will, there's an A, and get rich quick flipping real estate.
Yeah.
You're not going to light a fire on the bonnet of that $100,000 Jaguar, are you? All that great late night programming.
Yeah, all those infomercials. There was a time I was like, when I got done with everything or whatever, I want to watch some TV, and every channel I flipped to was that I could get on my rabbit ears was a Girls Gone Wild, you know, infomercial or whatever like that. They had these half-hour things, you know, all the UHF stations I could get, and something.
I think there's a lot of stuff on in the middle of the night now, but back when I was working second shift, it was all infomercials after like 1 o'clock or so.
Well, it depends whether you have cable TV or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't have cable. I had rabbit ears before they were digital. So now I don't have a TV, but I have a computer where. Well, only yesterday I watched last week's Tom's Guitar Show, or most of it anyway, on my computer.
Dirty little secret, rabbit ears are as digital as any antenna.
Yeah. Well, you can get the old rabbit ears still work as digital, or you have to get new rabbit ears.
It depends on how close you are to a station, and a lot of, since they've gone digital, a lot of them, you know, the rabbit ears stretched all the way out are for VHF, and a lot of the digital stuff has gone up to UHF, even though they still have the same channel numbers. So you got to kind of look it up, but you know, they'll work. I grew up over in UHF country where the broadcast stations were UHF all along. And I saw people that used a pair of beer cans for an antenna.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Depends on where you live, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but before, you know, when I was little, Peoria didn't have stations. Everybody had to watch the Quad Cities. And the Quad Cities were all VHF. So you big antennas, and you had to get them up on a tower. And then when we finally got stations, you know, you get the little bow ties or halos, and since the stations were close, they barely had to. You know, you could put it on the back of the set most of the time.
Right. Huh. Well, I had the rabbit ears for a long time. I mean, not that long ago, of course, but atop the TV set, and I could get the public television, and I could get the KYOU Fox 15 out of Ottumwa, and then I could get another Fox. I got the WB20 out of West Branch. Came in pretty clearly. So I had like 3 or 4 stations. Sometimes on a good night, I could get the KCRG out of Cedar Rapids. Sometimes I could get the KWWL out of Waterloo.
Yeah. When I first moved up here, I live in Solon, and in the wintertime when the leaves are off the trees, you can stand out on my deck and see Channel 12's tower. So it came in like 3 different places on my set.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I could that, but yeah, I could. But
it's over at West Branch, Channel 12.
West Branch, yeah. You can. That comes in fine. Yeah. I mean, I mainly watched PBS because it came in clearly, so I watched all the British sitcoms and stuff. But I could have gotten free cable, I mean basic cable, because I'm in the board of directors of the TV station as a perk. But I didn't. When I had cable, I just started watching too much TV. So.
I brought a UHF antenna with me, and since I'm a culture vulture, I found out there was a UHF channel over in the Quad Cities that showed Benny Hill at 10 o'clock at night. So, so I watched that sophisticated British humor.
Of course, sophisticated British television. Of course, they're.
Do a little chorus of yakety yaks there.
Yeah. I don't know it. I was just trying to fake it, but
Well, sometimes while he was being chased, they did the Manam Manam song too. You got that one?
ba-da-dum-bum. Not off the top of my head. I don't know. I'm not having one of my smart days.
Work those up for a culture night.
Yeah, I have to work those up for culture. I don't know. Well, I'll play a little folk guitar here, so.
Dylan tonight.
Yeah. I just turned on the
I
microphone.
hear you in your guitar.
Yeah. I have a. I just put the blender over here to the more microphone. So, and if I use a looper, I can say. Well, one guy else will say, all I can say is 7-Up is my favorite soft drink. All I can say is 7-Up is my favorite soft drink. All I can say is 7-Up is my favorite soft drink. That's like all he can say. He goes on like that till somebody manages to turn it off. You see, but anyway, I was doing. I had a student last night who was. He's a classical guitar student, but he's doing his finger picking on Bob Dylan songs. It's kind of cool when you think about it. Like, pardon me while I fiddle with my little controls. These little controls, you see on the side of the guitar here. You can like fiddle around with the stuff on the little faders and things, So this guy, we were doing classical guitar, his fingers, but we're trying to inform his finger picking by his classical guitar stuff. So there's like one thing that I think is a good exercise for any guitar player is to do, don't think twice, it's all right. And without even singing it. Which is great, Then you can try the next, like you can do it in another key. Like if I was in C, you might as well go up to D. I'm an E now. I keep modulating. Anyway, or you can do an F, like. Or F, how about G? I mean, if you think about it, Don't think twice. There's all the elements you want. You got your 1, your 5, relative minor. You got your 4, 1, 5, 1, 5, relative minor, 2, 5, 1, 1 with a 7, 4, 2, 1, 5 relative minor and 4 and 1 relative minor and 4. Anyway, there's also something I highly recommend looking up on YouTube is 4 Chords by the Axis of Awesome, and they have they're 3 Australian blokes who go through all the 4 chord songs, you know, and so they have this thing where they're singing, and sometimes they sing like too high, it sounds terrible and everything. But they, you know, like there's like, I mean, like obvious examples. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes in. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. That's what Michael Jackson. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I will be right here waiting for you. And la 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 la, the billabong, you'll come a waltzing Matilda with me. Axis of Awesome. It just doesn't get any better than that. There we go. I think we went through this last week. The guy surreptitiously moves my microphone here. Anyway, you know, I recommend that because a lot of they go through like I think 34 songs that are all the same 4 chord progression. But one they didn't do is "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," which is the same. You know, ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe. You don't know behind, you know, it's the same 4 chords. So, there you go.
Yeah, if you look that up, you know, you get a bunch of little things down the right-hand side of the screen, and one of those is Paul McCartney wrote every song. It's the same sort of a thing.
Well, yeah. I think "Don't Think Twice Is All Right" is actually older than "Let It Be." I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Well, I'm really digging my my river.
Talking through your guitar again.
Talking through it, yeah. I like this guitar. I've been playing a lot this week. I mean, the last since late last week, I suppose. Last 4 days or so, 5 days, and you know, last week I played that Stratocaster. Yeah. Really enjoyed it. And then I took it home and I put it back in the rack, and I haven't touched it since. It's got a little dust, not as much as the dust in the guitar next to it, but who knows? I will confess, I know Laura's not watching this, so I'm getting another guitar. One more. That's it.
Yeah, right.
Just
You
one.
can quit anytime.
I quit anytime I want, yeah. But well, see, the thing is that last guitar was pretty outrageous. You know that it's called sea green, but it's more like turquoise to me, colored, big hollow body. Not unlike the one I'm about to whip out here. Maybe I'll turn this down. Whip that guitar out. Isn't that line from Blazing Saddles? Pardon me while I whip this out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Remember, this is a family show.
that's right. Well, it was just his speech. Anyway, so I had this, this turquoise colored hollow body, It was pretty outrageous, but, everybody liked that one pretty well. I took it to my gig and everything, and they liked it, and there's something inside me snapped, and I was in the guitar shop, and I got out of debt, on that one, finally. And then I started making advances on a Lamborghini Yellow, like the sports car, DBZ Flying V. So it's a Flying V guitar, but it's bright sports car yellow.
Headbanger guitar.
What?
A headbanger guitar.
Yeah. It has the same pickups as that other DBZ that I bring on the show, that very thin one, the Imperial, it's called. But this has the same pickups, but it's in a different body, and it's mahogany, and it's this V. Okay. So I'm a little ashamed, but it hadn't come in yet, so I'm going to sort of, I give them a little money on Mondays, and the weeks go by, and then, and eventually the guitar will come in, and I'll get it paid off, and then I can quit, I suppose, because that's about as far as I want to go,
Don't forget to get a long blonde wig and some tight leather pants.
Well, I've been thinking about that. I was in a Dollar Tree in Cedar Rapids, actually, some time ago, and they had blonde ponytails that you could buy for $1. Yeah. And I thought, if I just got a baseball cap, like an oversized baseball cap, and have one of those sticking out the back, that might do a pretty good job, and then I could. But this one doesn't have the whammy bar on it, though. So I have a Flying V, a black one that's not symmetrical, and it's really cheap, but it actually doesn't sound bad. But I've had it on the show before, but it's an Epiphone. But if I would do Johnny Two-Chord, if I do Johnny Two-Chord character, he would have the whammy bar going. He'll go, because see, I was at West Music once. There was this kid, and he was playing a Stratocaster. He's like a 16-year-old kid, He's strumming like this and going, he's like strumming it with this, and his mom and dad are standing around there like, hey, so we're going to get him this guitar and stuff like that, and he's just going, and
You've taken the whammy bar off all your Strats, haven't you?
Well, you can unscrew them, and I don't usually. I keep the one that I played last week, but somebody asked me what it was for. Some kid, was taking lessons from me. So I went, and then it was all out of tune. You see, here's a device to
get your guitar out of tune.
That's right, And you say, well, why would I want to do that? What if I, like, you put a bunch of tacks in your driveway? See, this is what I do to make my tires go flat.
When you're as good at fixing flats as I am, why sweep the driveway?
That's right. All right. So, So anyway, hang on. I'm going to change partners. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be out of tune, too. So I haven't played this one since before Christmas, and only then for a little while. That was when I got that turquoise or whatever colored Dean Palomino, which is about the same size and shape as this thing, but not nearly as respectable. Sorry, it's really dusty for some reason. Maybe I didn't dust it properly before the last show I was on, but anyway. So this here is my DeArmond X155. And so, by the way, this leather strap, I'd had this for some years before I bought this guitar. I think I bought this guitar about 1998. And I might have had this strap since, I might have had this strap for 20 years. I mean, it's a high quality leather strap, so. The reason I mention about the strap is that I have a new batch of students up there at the college, up at Coe College where I'm teaching now, and should I tell them how to hold the guitar? Sorry. It's not polite to talk with your mouth full of tuning fork. I try to tell people how to hold the guitar. And I highly recommend holding the guitar up. The neck up like this. Like a classical guitarist does, or look at Joe Pass. Look at, Joe Pass, you can look at videos of him on YouTube or whatever. He held his guitar up like this too. He play a big hollow body like this and hold it up. So what I'm babbling about is that you can elevate your left foot on a footrest or a stack of books or something, like a classical guitarist would, or you can use a strap. And if you get a good strap, because for like $6, you can get a nylon strap that's made out of the same sort of stuff they make seatbelts out of, and it'll slide right off your shoulder, and it'll be a drag. It won't be fun at all. But and also they'll have plastic ends that are hard to get onto the strap buttons. I promised I'd play this guitar. So for a few bucks, for a bit more, you can get like a high quality leather strap like this. And as I say, I've had this strap for a long time. I think I might have put this strap on my Martin guitar that I traded. So I had a Martin once, so got it in a guitar contest. So I brought this guitar with me because I have this gig on Thursday night, the Mendoza Wine Bar, place in Coralville. I've never been there before. Anyway, the guy was, they have jazz. So I could be like a jazz player, like you could do one thing jazz do, they do a 2, 5, 1. Or 2, 5, 4.
dust off some of your 40s stuff. You played it for her, Sam.
Yeah. Actually, 1931. When they did the movie Casablanca. This is an old song from A Happier Time. See, it's an oldie. 10-year-old song.
We're getting some music in this week.
Yeah, yeah. This is it's a great little jazz guitar, though. I think this is like the sound I'm getting. This is the acoustic guitar amp with a jazz guitar. So it's supposed to, instead of having like a regular electric guitar amp, yeah. This is my overly reverbed. And people like this. I've had jazz guitar players come up and say, "How do you get that sound, man?" I say, "Well, you say acoustic guitar amp. Crank up the reverb." So. How about anyway? Love is Blue. L'amour est bleu, like the big hit in about 1968. If you could read my mind. Yeah. You had the impression that kind of Gordon Lightfoot songs were kind of maudlin. You know, like that Canadian whiskey's kind of syrupy. You know, I think it makes you maudlin, don't you? I mean,
yeah. Edmund Fitzgerald's not a real happy up tempo thing.
No, everybody died. Yeah. I might get into an instrumental, but after you've done that, you've kind of done it, the whole thing. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't like go anywhere.
Keeps repeating, yeah.
I mean, it goes over on and on and on. So, I shouldn't say this on TV, but there's a place I was playing. There's a guy who had the gig also, but they didn't hire him back because he didn't know that many songs, and so he had to repeat the songs. Yeah. And one of the owners said that she never ever wanted to hear the theme to MASH again.
No.
Because
Suicide is Painless.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just one of those things.
Before we get to the Tom's Guitar Show theme, maybe we should remind people where you're working this weekend.
Yeah, well, I'll be at Tuscan Moon in beautiful downtown Kelowna, right next to the bakery. So many good things to do and see, like the cheese house and the bakery, my Kelowna.
And your new Thursday night gig?
Thursday night at the Mendoza Wine Bar, I guess it is, right there by the the theater in Coralville, the Performing Arts Center. And I'll be, maybe I'll be playing this guitar. I mean, this is my, this is sort of my version of being a jazz guitar player. I don't want anybody to think I'm a jazz guitar player because usually jazz guitar players, their bar tab is higher than what they got paid. So you owe, yeah. I guess.
Work all night, no money.
I think that's it. Somehow the credits aren't rolling. Good night, everybody.
Sorry, we had a glitch with the
In fact, our credits are still on screen. Are we still on the air?